Welcome to the Sleeping Times channel. Tonight we bring you a story that will transport you directly to the greatest spectacle humanity ever created. A full day at the Roman Colosseum, seen through the eyes of 80,000 spectators who lived an experience that would forever define what greatness means. Imagine a world where a single building could accommodate the population of an entire city, where engineering was so advanced that underground hydraulic systems created special effects that seemed like magic, where every detail from the perfume you wore to where you sat communicated your position in the most sophisticated society of antiquity. What if I told you that in the 2nd century AD, participating in a day at the Colosseum engaged all your senses in a way that our modern entertainment experience has forever lost? Discover how our ancestors transformed a simple amphitheater into a complete universe of emotions, where every citizen was simultaneously a spectator and a participant in a ritual that celebrated human grandeur. If you enjoy stories that move you, surprise you, and make you think about how we live today, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and hit the notification bell so you never miss anything. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there, and tell me, have you ever had a cultural experience that engaged all your senses so intensely? And remember, throughout the week, we bring new adventures and incredible eras waiting to inspire you. Are you ready to embark on this journey through the marble stands of the past? Then make yourself comfortable, turn off the lights if you want a more immersive experience, and prepare to discover how a day at the Colosseum was truly a living work of art that defined what it meant to be Roman. The sun slowly rises over Rome's 7 hills, painting the terracotta roofs that stretch endlessly across the city with a golden hue. The morning air carries the familiar aroma of fresh bread baking in local bakeries, mingled with the incense wafting from nearby temples. In the still, silent streets, only the first merchants begin to open their stalls, preparing for another day in the capital of the known world. In the patrician homes, domestic slaves are already moving discreetly, preparing the embroidered white tunics their masters will wear for the day's grand event. The fine fabric of wool imported from Gaul is carefully laid out, while leather sandals are polished until they gleam like mirrors. Every detail of the attire communicates social status, from the width of the purple stripe on the toga to the quality of the bronze fibulae that fasten the fabric's folds. In the insula, the multi-story buildings where the urban plebs live, families prepare with equal enthusiasm, albeit with more modest resources. Their tunics are of simpler linen, but were washed with special care the night before. Children are instructed on proper behavior in the amphitheater, while mothers prepare small snacks of bread, olives, and goat cheese to sustain the family during the long hours of the spectacle. The characteristic smell of Rome in the morning, a mixture of burning wood from ovens, spices from eastern markets, and the salty aroma coming from the Tiber, fills every alley and avenue. Cats lounging around taverns stretch lazily on the still cool marble steps as the first sunbeams warm the cobblestones that will soon be bustling with crowds. In the imperial palaces on the Palatine, the preparation is even more elaborate. Specialized slaves apply perfumed oils and unguents to the noble's hair, creating complex hairstyles that will take hours to complete. Jewels are meticulously chosen: gold rings with precious stones, pearl necklaces from the Red Sea, intricately worked silver bracelets that capture and reflect the morning light. The imperial kitchens are already bustling with activity, preparing delicacies to be consumed in the privileged boxes of the Colosseum. Roasted peacocks, aged wines from distant regions, honey-candied fruits and rare spices from the East are carefully arranged on silver trays. Luxury is not just ostentation, but a demonstration of the power Rome wields over territories stretching from Britannia to Egypt. In the streets, the first street vendors begin to circulate, offering good luck charms, small statues of the most famous gladiators, and scrolls with the game schedules. Their voices echo between the buildings, creating an urban symphony that announces the start of another day of spectacle in the city that never truly sleeps. Steam rises from the public baths, where many citizens perform their morning hygiene before the big event. The hot water, heated by an ingenious hypercaust system, relaxes muscles and prepares the body and mind for the intense emotions to come. Lively conversations echo among the marble columns, discussing the gladiators who will fight today and placing bets on the outcomes. The temples receive their first offerings of the day, with devout citizens placing incense and small coins at the feet of the god statues. Many offer special prayers for their favorite gladiators to be victorious, or for the games to be especially memorable. Religiosity permeates every aspect of Roman life, and even entertainment is seen as a way to honor the gods and the emperor. Slowly, Rome awakens to another day that will be etched into the collective memory of its inhabitants. The Colosseum awaits, majestic and silent, like a sleeping giant about to roar with the voices of 80,000 spectators. Anticipation hangs in the air like a golden mist, promising hours of excitement, surprise, and grandeur that only the Roman Empire can provide. Just as our Roman ancestors began their days with rituals and careful preparations, we too have our own morning rituals that connect us with our community and culture. The difference perhaps lies in the scale of the collective experience. While they prepared to share emotions with tens of thousands of people simultaneously, our modern cultural experience tends to be more fragmented and individual. The streets of Rome begin to pulse with life as thousands of citizens start their journey towards the Colosseum. The rhythmic sound of sandals on the basalt stones echoes between the buildings, creating an urban percussion that grows in intensity with each passing minute. The main streets, paved with perfectly fitted travertine blocks, lead like human rivers towards the great amphitheater that rises majestically on the horizon. Entire families walk together, parents carrying small children on their shoulders so they can see over the crowds. Voices blend into a constant murmur, discussions about the day's gladiators, speculations about which exotic animals will be presented, and comments on the emperor's generosity in offering such free spectacles to the people. Classical Latin mixes with regional dialects, creating a linguistic symphony that reflects the empire's diversity. Street vendors take advantage of the constant flow of people to offer their wares. Small ivory-carved gladiator figurines, protective amulets made of Baltic amber, and parchment scrolls with the names and stories of the fighters are displayed in wicker baskets. The aroma of roasted chestnuts mingles with the scent of roses that some women carry in small silk sachets, creating a festive and welcoming atmosphere. Social differences become evident in how each group moves through the city. Senators and their families travel in luxurious litters, carried by Nubian slaves dressed in gold-embroidered tunics. Silk curtains flutter gently with the movement, offering glimpses of the occupants reclining on purple velvet cushions. The discreet jingle of jewelry and the scent of expensive unguents mark their passage through the streets. The Roman middle class, prosperous merchants, skilled artisans, and public officials walk with dignity, their tunics well maintained and their upright postures demonstrating civic pride. They carry small leather pouches containing coins to buy refreshments during the games, and many carry wool cushions to make the amphitheater's stone seats more comfortable. The plebeians, who make up the majority of the crowd, advance in lively groups, their voices louder and gestures more expansive. Their clothes are simple but clean, and many carry wineskins of diluted wine and baskets with bread and dried fruit. Children run between the adults' legs playing gladiators with wooden swords, their laughter echoing cheerfully among the columns of the porticos. The streets narrow as they approach the Colosseum, forcing the crowd to compress into a denser flow. The heat of bodies intensifies, mixed with the aromas of perfumes, sweat, and food. Despite the physical proximity, there is a palpable sense of camaraderie. Everyone is Roman, everyone shares the privilege of witnessing the greatest games in the known world. Street musicians positioned at strategic corners play flutes and lyres, their soft melodies contrasting with the hum of conversations. A few bronze coins are tossed into their straw hats, and they respond with grateful nods and even more elaborate tunes. The music adds an extra layer of civility and culture to the experience, reminding everyone that Rome is not just military power, but also artistic refinement. As the Colosseum becomes more visible, its impressive magnitude gradually silences conversations. The four-story structure rises like an artificial mountain, its perfectly symmetrical arches creating a hypnotic pattern of light and shadow. The light travertine gleams under the morning sun, and the statues adorning the niches between the arches seem to observe the approaching crowd with serene and majestic expressions. The sound of footsteps gradually transforms into a dull rumble as thousands of feet simultaneously touch the stones. The anticipation is almost tangible. One can feel it in people's faster breathing, in the anxious glances directed at the amphitheater's entrances, and in the way children cling more tightly to their parents' hands. All of Rome converges on this moment, this place, this experience that defines what it means to be a citizen of the greatest empire the world has ever known. The collective journey towards a cultural event creates a unique sense of belonging and shared anticipation. Today, when we head to stadiums or theaters, we experience echoes of this same collective emotion, though perhaps with less ritual intensity than our Roman ancestors, for whom every aspect of public life was imbued with civic and religious meaning. The Colosseum reveals itself in all its magnificence as the crowd approaches its 80 numbered entrances, each precisely designed to accommodate the constant flow of spectators. The ground floor arches, built from travertine quarried in Tivoli, create a hypnotic visual rhythm that naturally guides the eyes along the curved facade. Each entrance is marked by Roman numerals carved in bas-relief, allowing ceramic ticket holders to easily find their designated access points. The Doric columns of the first floor rise with majestic simplicity, their perfect proportions creating a sense of stability and permanence that reassures the crowd. Above them, the Ionic columns of the second floor add a more refined elegance, while the Corinthian columns of the third floor, with their ornate acanthus leaf capitals, crown the structure with an opulence reflecting imperial power. The fourth floor, with its rectangular windows and supports for the velarium, completes this architectural symphony that combines functionality and beauty. The polished bronze gates reflect the anxious faces of the spectators, creating a kaleidoscope of expressions ranging from childlike excitement to senatorial dignity. Praetorian guards, dressed in their ceremonial armor gleaming like mirrors under the sun, flank the main entrances reserved for the elite. Their spears remain upright, more symbols of authority than instruments of war, while their vigilant gazes constantly sweep the crowd for any sign of disorder. The entrance system reveals the genius of Roman engineering. Each ceramic ticket corresponds not only to a specific entrance, but also to a numbered section, row, and seat. This system allows 80,000 people to find their places in an organized and efficient manner, avoiding the chaos that could easily arise in a crowd of such magnitude. Public slaves dressed in uniform tunics marked with the imperial symbol assist spectators less familiar with the system. As one crosses the threshold of an entrance, the contrast between the external light and the dimness of the internal corridors creates an almost ritualistic moment of transition. The corridors, built from opus caementitium, the Roman concrete that revolutionized architecture, echo with the sound of footsteps and conversations, creating a unique acoustics that amplifies the feeling of entering a sacred space dedicated to entertainment and the glory of Rome. The walls of the corridors are decorated with frescoes depicting scenes of heroic hunts and glorious combats, their pigments still vibrant thanks to the advanced techniques of Roman artists. Bronze torches, fueled by olive oil perfumed with lavender essences, illuminate these artworks and create a welcoming atmosphere that contrasts with the intimidating grandeur of the exterior. The soft aroma of perfumed smoke mingles with the characteristic smell of stone and polished metal. Small niches along the corridors house statues of protective gods, Mars for courage, Fortuna for luck, and Minerva for wisdom. Many spectators pause briefly to touch these statues or murmur a quick prayer, seeking divine protection for their favorite gladiators, or simply giving thanks for the opportunity to participate in such a spectacle. Small coins are often left at the feet of these deities as offerings. The staircases leading to the different levels are built with Carrara marble steps, their surface polished but not slippery, providing safety even when thousands of feet traverse them simultaneously. The design of the stairs allows for upward and downward flow without congestion, once again demonstrating the sophistication of Roman planning. Bronze handrails, warmed by the touch of countless hands, offer additional support. Authorized vendors strategically position themselves in the corridors, offering game programs written on parchment, straw cushions for greater comfort on the stone seats, and small vials of perfumed water to refresh the face during the hottest hours of the day. Their calls echo melodiously through the corridors, adding a commercial layer to the experience that, far from diminishing the grandeur, makes it more human and accessible. As one approaches the exits leading to the arena itself, natural light begins to filter in again, creating a growing anticipation. The sound of the already seated crowd echoes like a distant ocean, promising the collective emotion that is about to unfold. Each step towards the light is a step towards an experience that will be etched in memory forever. A participation in the great theater of Roman civilization. The architecture of the Colosseum demonstrates how the design of a space can profoundly shape our emotional experience. Today, when we enter modern stadiums or concert halls, we still experience echoes of this same carefully orchestrated progression, from external anticipation through the transition of the corridors to the final revelation of the main space. The difference perhaps lies in the ritualistic intentionality that the Romans invested in every detail of this journey. The moment of exiting the corridors into the arena is like emerging from a cave to behold a new world. The vastness of the space reveals itself instantly, a perfect ellipse measuring 86 by 54 meters, covered in finely sifted golden sand that gleams under the morning sun like a sea of gold. This sand, specially imported from Egypt and mixed with aromatic cedar sawdust, not only absorbs the blood of the combats but also exudes a subtle perfume that rises with every movement of the gladiators. The stands extend in concentric layers that seem to touch the sky, creating a sensation of being inside a hollow mountain carved by the gods. 80,000 travertine marble seats are arranged in a perfect visual hierarchy, from the imperial podium, decorated with colored marbles and silk fabrics, to the highest rows where the plebs settle on simple but solid stone benches. Each level tells its own story about Roman society and its complex class system. The podium, reserved for the emperor and senators, is a work of art in itself. Columns of purple Phrygian marble alternate with those of pink Aswan granite, creating a chromatic pattern that symbolizes the geographical extent of the empire. Gold-embroidered silk awnings protect the most illustrious occupants from the sun, while Nubian slaves with peacock feather fans create artificial breezes. The aroma of roses and jasmine, dispersed by silver braziers, constantly perfumes this privileged area. The Maenianum Primum, intended for the equestrian class and the most prosperous citizens, offers a perfect view of the arena without being excessively elevated. The seats here are individual, carved from white marble with small backrests that provide comfort during the long hours of the spectacle. Wool cushions dyed with Tyrian purple, a luxury accessible only to the wealthiest, adorn many of these seats, while small bronze tables allow spectators to enjoy refreshments without missing any moment of the action. The Maenianum Secundum, divided into two sections, accommodates the vast Roman middle class. Here, the seats are continuous stone benches, yet still comfortable and with good visibility. Prosperous merchants, skilled artisans, military veterans, and public officials occupy these rows, their well-maintained tunics creating a mosaic of soft colors, whites, creams, and earthy tones that reflect both the dignity and modesty of their social positions. In the highest rows, the Maenianum Summum in lignes, built partially of wood to reduce weight on the structure, the urban plebs settle on simple but functional benches. Despite the distance from the arena, the amphitheater's perfect acoustics allow every shout, every clash of swords, every roar of a wild animal to reach their ears clearly. The panoramic view of Rome unfolding from here compensates for any limitation in proximity to the action. The velarium, the gigantic retractable awning operated by sailors from the imperial fleet, casts geometric shadows that slowly move across the arena as the sun progresses through the sky. This ingenious system, composed of hundreds of meters of naval canvas treated with beeswax, can be adjusted to protect different sections of the stands depending on the time of day and wind direction. The soft sound of the fabric fluttering adds a natural soundtrack to the spectacle. In the center of the arena, the sand forms decorative patterns created by the slaves' rakes, spirals, concentric circles, and geometric designs that will be erased by the gladiator's first steps, but which for now create a sense of order and beauty that reassures the spectators. Small wildflowers, daisies, violets, and narcissus, have been scattered across the surface, adding color and fragrance to the environment and demonstrating Roman attention to aesthetic details. The arena doors remain closed, but their golden bronze decorations capture and reflect the sunlight, creating points of brilliance that dance on the marble walls. Each door is a work of art, decorated with reliefs depicting Roman military victories, heroic hunts, and mythological scenes. The mystery of what lies behind these doors, gladiators preparing, wild animals waiting, complex machinery ready to create surprises, adds a delicious tension to the atmosphere. The amphitheater's acoustic perfection becomes evident as the crowd settles. Whispered conversations on the podium can be heard clearly in the upper rows, while the collective murmur of 80,000 voices creates a human symphony that resonates through the stone walls. This acoustic phenomenon is not accidental, but the result of precise calculations that considered the curvature of the walls, the inclination of the seats, and even the density of the materials used in construction. The first sight of the Colosseum arena must have evoked a sense of awe that transcended mere entertainment. It was a visual and visceral reminder of the power, organization, and sophistication of Roman civilization. Today, when we enter large stadiums or arenas, we still experience echoes of that admiration, though perhaps with less awareness of the political and social significance that such spaces represent. The distant sound of bronze tubas announces the approach of the imperial procession, creating a wave of anticipation that sweeps through the stands like an invisible breeze. 80,000 voices gradually fall silent, replaced by a reverent murmur that echoes through the marble walls. Emperor Trajan, in all his majesty, is about to make his triumphant entry, transforming the amphitheater into a living temple of Roman authority and the divine power emanating from the imperial throne. The lictors lead the procession, their fasces, bundles of birch rods tied with red ribbons and topped with bronze axes, held in ceremonial position. Their immaculate white tunics contrast with the purple stripes crossing their chests, while their synchronized steps create a hypnotic rhythm that echoes through the arena. The symbolism is clear to all present. Imperial authority is absolute, but it is also protective, capable of both punishing and rewarding. Senators in their purple-bordered togas follow in solemn formation, their dignified expressions reflecting the gravity of the moment. Each carries a small laurel branch, a symbol of victory and the peace Rome brought to the known world. Their fine leather sandals, adorned with gold fibulae, barely make a sound on the arena sand, creating an almost ethereal procession that seems to float towards the imperial box. The emperor himself appears as a golden apparition, his purple toga embroidered with gold threads capturing and reflecting every sunbeam that penetrates through the velarium. The laurel wreath on his head, made of beaten gold leaves so thin they flutter with every movement, creates a luminous halo that immediately distinguishes him from all others present. His upright posture and serene gaze convey a confidence that seems to emanate from the gods themselves. Empress Plotina accompanies him, her purple silk stola flowing like liquid water with every step. Her jewels, an emerald necklace from Egypt, pearl bracelets from the Red Sea, and diamond earrings from India, capture the light and fragment it into 1,000 rainbows that dance on her alabaster skin. Her elaborate hairstyle, a tower of curls held with gold pins and decorated with small silver flowers, represents hours of work by the empire's finest hairdressers. The procession also includes the emperor's adopted sons, young princes dressed in gold-embroidered white tunics, their serious expressions demonstrating awareness of the responsibility they carry as future leaders of Rome. Each carries a small ivory scepter, a symbol of their position in the line of succession, while their Greek tutors discreetly accompany them, whispering reminders about protocol and proper behavior. Musicians from the imperial court create a celestial soundtrack with their tortoise-shell lyres, silver flutes, and bronze cymbals. The melody, composed specifically for imperial occasions, combines traditional Dorian scales with Eastern influences acquired during military campaigns, creating music that is simultaneously familiar and exotic, Roman and universal. The sound echoes through the stands, enveloping every spectator in an atmosphere of reverence and admiration. Nubian slaves, selected for their beauty and majestic bearing, carry silver braziers steaming with frankincense and myrrh, imported from Arabia. The sacred aroma spreads through the arena, purifying the space and preparing it for the rituals that will follow. Other slaves scatter red rose petals along the emperor's path, creating a perfumed carpet to be trodden only by imperial feet. As the procession approaches the imperial box, the crowd erupts in coordinated acclamations. "Ave, Imperator! Ave, Caesar!" Voices unite in a deafening chorus that makes the very stones of the amphitheater vibrate. White handkerchiefs wave like flags of surrender to imperial power, while flowers are thrown from the upper stands, creating a colorful and fragrant rain that blesses the arrival of the Lord of the known world. The emperor raises his right hand in a graceful gesture of acknowledgement, and instantly 80,000 voices fall silent as if controlled by magic. This moment of absolute silence is perhaps the most powerful of all. It demonstrates not only the respect the emperor commands, but also the discipline and unity of the Roman people. It is a silence that speaks louder than any acclamation, a mute but eloquent recognition of imperial majesty. When the emperor finally takes his place on the ivory and gold throne, decorated with reliefs depicting his military victories, a collective sigh of satisfaction sweeps through the stands. Rome is complete, the father of the homeland is present, the games can begin, and every citizen present can feel part of something greater than themselves, part of the eternal grandeur that is the Roman Empire. The ritual of the imperial arrival is not just protocol, but a reaffirmation of the cosmic order that places Rome at the center of the civilized universe. Rituals of power, such as the imperial arrival at the Colosseum, serve to reinforce social hierarchies and create a sense of national unity through the shared experience of reverence. Today, although our political leaders do not enjoy the same type of almost religious veneration, we can still observe echoes of these rituals in state ceremonies, Olympic game openings, and other events where protocol and pomp serve to create moments of collective identity. With the emperor duly seated on his throne, a new energy courses through the amphitheater like an invisible electric current. The last spectators find their places, creating a human mosaic of colorful tunics that spreads across the stands in concentric waves. The murmur of conversations intensifies, punctuated by the discreet jingle of coins being wagered and the soft rustle of wicker baskets being opened to reveal the snacks that will sustain families during the long hours of the spectacle. Authorized vendors circulate through the rows with their merchandise carefully arranged on polished wooden trays. They offer fresh water in ceramic amphorae decorated with gladiator scenes, honey-diluted wines served in bronze goblets, and a variety of snacks, dates stuffed with nuts, olives marinated in aromatic herbs, and small sweetbreads sprinkled with poppy seeds. Their melodious calls blend with the general hum, creating a commercial symphony that adds vibrancy to the environment. In the upper rows, groups of friends gather in small circles, sharing information about the gladiators who will fight today. Parchment scrolls with the fighters' biographies circulate from hand to hand, revealing fascinating details. Spartacus of Thrace, known for his feline speed, Marcus Brutus, the Gallic giant whose strength is legendary, and Flavius Maximus, the veteran who survived 50 combats. Each name evokes stories of courage, skill, and human drama that transcend mere entertainment. In the imperial podium, the Roman elite displays its sophistication through elaborate social rituals. Specialized slaves circulate with silver trays offering exotic delicacies, fresh oysters from Brindisi served in pearlescent shells, roasted peacocks seasoned with spices from India, and rare wines from distant regions served in Alexandrian crystal goblets. Conversations in classical Greek mingle with Latin, demonstrating the cosmopolitan education of the Roman aristocracy. Musicians strategically positioned in the stands create a festive atmosphere with their improvised performances. Flutists play pastoral melodies that evoke the peace of the Italian countryside, while citharists perform more complex compositions that demonstrate Rome's cultural sophistication. The sound of lyres blends with the laughter of children and the animated conversations of adults, creating a natural soundtrack that celebrates life and community. The betting system operates with impressive efficiency. Specialized runners circulate through the stands, collecting wagers and recording them on wax tablets. Odds are calculated based on each gladiator's history, their current physical condition, and even factors like the moon phase and omens observed by the augurs. Bronze, silver, and even gold coins constantly change hands, transforming each combat into an opportunity for fortune or ruin. Incense burns in braziers scattered throughout the amphitheater, creating aromatic clouds that slowly rise towards the sky. The scent of sandalwood blends with essences of rose and jasmine, purifying the air and creating an almost religious atmosphere that prepares spectators for the rituals that will follow. Many citizens offer small prayers to the gods, asking for protection for their favorite gladiators, or simply giving thanks for the opportunity to participate in such a spectacle. Children run through the corridors with wooden swords, imitating the movements they will soon see in the arena. Their laughter echoes cheerfully, adding a note of innocence and joy to the environment. Indulgent parents watch with smiles, remembering their own childhoods and the dreams of glory they once harbored. Some girls pretend to be empresses, wearing flower crowns and walking with the exaggerated dignity that only children can maintain. The velarium is adjusted by the imperial sailors, its ropes creaking softly as the gigantic canopy moves to protect different sections of the stands from the rising sun. This aerial ballet, executed with military precision, once again demonstrates Roman ingenuity and its ability to combine functionality with spectacle. The shadows moving across the arena create constantly changing geometric patterns, adding a dynamic visual element to the environment. As the time for the games to begin approaches, an almost tangible anticipation fills the air. Conversations become more animated, gestures more expressive, and glances turn more and more frequently towards the arena doors. The Colosseum is alive, pulsing with the energy of 80,000 hearts beating in anticipation. Rome is ready for another day of glory, another chapter in the eternal history of its greatness, another demonstration that to be Roman is to participate in the greatest civilization the world has ever known. The collective preparation for a grand event creates a unique social energy, where strangers temporarily become part of a community united by shared experience. Today, when we gather in stadiums or festivals, we still experience echoes of this same collective energy, though perhaps with less awareness of the social rituals and hierarchies that structure our experience. The deep, prolonged sound of imperial tubas echoes through the stands, officially announcing the start of the games. It is a sound that seems to emerge from the very bowels of the earth, vibrating through the stones of the amphitheater and penetrating the bones of every spectator. 80,000 voices instantly fall silent, creating a moment of absolute anticipation that makes the air seem denser, more charged with possibilities. This is the moment all of Rome awaited, the beginning of another day of spectacle that will be etched into the collective memory of the eternal city. The first arena doors open with a metallic creak that echoes dramatically through the amphitheater, revealing a procession of imperial officials dressed in white tunics embroidered with gold. They carry standards with the legionary eagles and the symbols of the empire, creating a visual display that reaffirms the power and glory of Rome. Their synchronized steps on the golden sand create a hypnotic rhythm that prepares the spectators for the rituals to follow. The first morning, spectacles traditionally feature the venationes, elaborate hunts that recreate exotic landscapes within the arena. Slaves specialized in scenography work quickly to transform the space, installing artificial trees made of bronze and silk, fake rocks carved from painted marble, and even small artificial lakes fed by the complex underground hydraulic system. In a matter of minutes, the arena transforms into an African forest, an Asian savanna, or a Germanic tundra. The scent of wild animals begins to spread through the amphitheater, a musky, primal smell that awakens ancestral instincts in the spectators. Distant roars echo from the underground, creating a delicious tension that makes hair stand on end and hearts beat faster. Lions from Numidia, tigers from India, bears from the Germanic forests, and elephants from Africa await their turn to enter the arena, each representing a different region of the vast Roman Empire. The professional hunters, known as venatores, make their triumphant entry dressed in light but elegant armor, decorated with motifs representing their specialties. Some wear the skins of animals they have already defeated, others carry exotic weapons from distant regions, composite bows from the Huns, African ebony spears, silk nets from China. Their faces show a mixture of concentration and confidence that comes only from experience in facing the most dangerous creatures of the known world. The first hunt features a pack of wolves from the Alpine mountains, their silver fur gleaming under the sun filtered by the valerium. The animals move cautiously through the artificial arena, their keen senses detecting the strange smells and sounds of the environment. Spectators watch in respectful silence, admiring the wild beauty of these creatures that represent the untamed nature Rome conquered and civilized. The Venator, specializing in wolves, moves with feline grace, his spear perfectly balanced in his experienced hands. He does not simply seek to kill the animals, but to demonstrate his skill in a deadly dance that celebrates both human courage and animal majesty. Every movement is calculated, every step a demonstration of technique perfected through years of training. The crowd watches hypnotized, holding their breath with each close encounter between man and beast. Between the hunts, lighter performances entertain the crowd. Nubian acrobats perform impossible leaps over domesticated elephants, Egyptian trainers make crocodiles dance to the sound of flutes, and Gallic trainers demonstrate the intelligence of bears performing elaborate tricks. These presentations serve as comedic intervals that relieve the tension of the more intense hunts, showing that Rome not only conquers nature, but also transforms it into art. The underground elevator system works like magic in the eyes of the spectators. Animals and scenery appear and disappear through trapdoors disguised in the sand, creating constant surprises that keep the crowd's attention. This hypodium, a complex network of tunnels and chambers beneath the arena, is an engineering marvel that allows for special effects that seem supernatural. Water gushes from hidden fountains, aromatic mist emerges from invisible fissures, and mysterious sounds echo from unexpected directions. As the morning progresses, the spectacles gradually become more elaborate and impressive. A recreation of the Battle of Zama features Carthaginian war elephants facing Roman legionaries, while a hunt for the Indian rhinoceros demonstrates the courage required to confront one of the world's most dangerous creatures. Each presentation is a lesson in history, geography, and zoology, educating the crowd while entertaining them. The morning spectacles at the Colosseum served multiple functions: entertainment, education, a demonstration of imperial power, and a reaffirmation of Roman superiority over wild nature. Today, our wildlife documentaries and modern zoos fulfill some of these same functions, albeit with a very different ethical awareness regarding our relationship with the natural world. As the sun reaches its zenith, a natural pause in the spectacles allows the 80,000 spectators to reorganize and refresh themselves. The midday Roman heat, even filtered by the ingenious valerium, creates a sleepy atmosphere that invites rest and contemplation. This intermission is not just a practical necessity, but a ritualized moment that allows the crowd to process the intense emotions of the morning and prepare for the gladiator combats that will come in the afternoon. Vendors specializing in refreshments circulate through the stands with an impressive variety of chilled drinks. Water perfumed with rose essence, served in amphorae kept cool by an ingenious evaporation system, offers immediate relief from the heat. Wine diluted with snow brought from the Alps in special carts, seasoned with honey and oriental spices, provides a refreshing luxury that demonstrates the reach and sophistication of the Roman Empire. Families open their carefully prepared wicker baskets, revealing true portable banquets that reflect both the abundance and culinary diversity of Rome. Breads stuffed with olives and goat cheese, dried fruits imported from Syria, nuts from Greece, and small honey cakes sprinkled with poppy seeds create a variety of flavors and textures that satisfy all palates. The aroma of food mingles with personal perfumes, creating a welcoming and familiar atmosphere. In the imperial podium, the intermission transforms into an opportunity for diplomacy and politics. Ambassadors from distant kingdoms are presented to the emperor, offering exotic gifts: silks from China, spices from India, pearls from the Red Sea, and rare animals that will be incorporated into upcoming spectacles. These diplomatic exchanges, conducted publicly, demonstrate both Rome's wealth and its power of attraction over the known world. Itinerant musicians take advantage of the intermission to circulate through the stands, offering personalized entertainment for small groups of spectators. Poets improvise verses about the morning's spectacles, citharists play popular melodies that the crowd sings along to, and storytellers narrate heroic legends that echo the themes of the games. This ambient music creates a festive atmosphere that maintains the celebratory spirit even during the break. Children take advantage of the intermission's freedom to explore the permitted areas of the amphitheater, running through the corridors and playing gladiators with wooden swords. Their laughter echoes cheerfully through the arches, adding a note of innocence and joy to the environment. Some receive small gifts from vendors: miniature gladiator figurines, sweets made of honey and nuts, or small scrolls with drawings of the animals presented in the morning. The betting system intensifies during the intermission, with specialized runners collecting information about the gladiators who will fight in the afternoon. Rumors about secret injuries, special strategies, and even bribes circulate through the stands, influencing the odds and creating an atmosphere of speculation that adds an extra layer of excitement to the upcoming combats. Coins constantly change hands, transforming every conversation into a business opportunity. In the areas reserved for priests, discreet rituals are performed to ensure divine protection over the afternoon spectacles. Frankincense burns in bronze braziers, creating aromatic clouds that rise towards the gods. Small offerings, coins, flowers, and wine libations are placed on portable altars dedicated to Mars, god of war, and Fortuna, goddess of luck. These rituals, though discreet, are respectfully observed by the crowd. The velarium is readjusted by the imperial sailors to accommodate the change in the sun's position, creating an aerial ballet that fascinates the spectators. The ropes creak softly as the gigantic canopy moves, casting new shadows across the arena and stands. This adjustment is not only functional but also aesthetic, creating constantly changing patterns of light and shadow that add a dynamic visual element to the environment. Groups of friends reorganize for the afternoon spectacles, swapping places for better visibility or simply to vary the social experience. Lively conversations about the gladiators who will fight mingle with discussions about politics, business, and family life, creating an atmosphere of community that transcends social class differences. For a few hours, everyone is simply Roman, united by the shared experience. As the intermission draws to a close, a growing anticipation fills the air. The murmur of conversations intensifies, gestures become more expressive, and glances turn more and more frequently towards the arena doors. Specialized slaves begin to prepare the sand for the afternoon combats, removing the traces of the morning hunts and creating new, decorative patterns with their rakes. The Colosseum awakens from its midday rest, ready for the most awaited phase of the games, the gladiator combats that will define this day in Rome's collective memory. The midday intermission at the Colosseum demonstrates how even moments of pause in collective events serve important social functions. They allow for the emotional digestion of experiences, the strengthening of community bonds, and psychological preparation for what is to come. Today, intermissions at sporting or cultural events fulfill similar functions, though perhaps with less ritualistic awareness than our Roman ancestors. The sound of the imperial tubas echoes through the amphitheater once more, deeper and more solemn this time, announcing the start of the gladiator combats, the most anticipated moment of the entire spectacle. A wave of anticipation sweeps through the 80,000 people present, creating an almost religious silence that makes the air seem denser and charged with possibilities. This is the heart of the games, the moment when courage, skill, and destiny meet on the golden sand to create stories that will be told for generations. The main arena doors open majestically, revealing the procession of gladiators in all their martial glory. They advance in ceremonial formation, their polished armor reflecting the sun's rays, filtering through the velarium like bronze and iron mirrors. Each type of gladiator represents a different military tradition. The myrmiones, with their fish-crested helmets and rectangular shields, evoke Roman legionaries, while the retiarii, with their nets and tridents, represent Mediterranean fishermen transformed into warriors. Spartacus of Thrace leads the procession, his athletic build and battle scars telling the story of countless survived combats. His armor, decorated with motifs from his homeland, shines like gold under the sun, while his serene gaze demonstrates the confidence that comes only from experience in facing death and emerging victorious. The crowd recognizes him instantly, and a murmur of admiration sweeps through the stands like a gentle wave. Marcus Brutus, the Gallic giant, impresses with his imposing stature and the evident strength in every movement. His heavy armor, specially forged to accommodate his exceptional physique, creates a rhythmic metallic sound with each step. His weapons, a broad-bladed gladius and a shield decorated with Celtic symbols, reflect his barbarian heritage, domesticated by Roman discipline. Children in the stands point at him with admiration, whispering about his legendary strength. Flavius Maximus, the veteran of 50 combats, walks with the serene dignity of one who has faced every possible fear and emerged transformed by the experience. His scars are like medals of honor, each telling a story of courage and survival. His armor, though less ornate than that of younger gladiators, carries the patina of experience and the respect that comes only from longevity in a profession where few survive beyond a few years. The ceremony of saluting the emperor is a moment of almost religious solemnity. The gladiators position themselves in a perfect line before the imperial box, their weapons raised in salute, and pronounce in unison the words that will echo through eternity. Ave Imperator, morituri te salutant. Hail, Emperor, those who are about to die salute you. The sound of their united voices resonates through the stands like distant thunder, creating a moment of transcendence that elevates the spectacle beyond mere entertainment. The first combat features a classic duel between a mumio and a retiarius, strength against agility, tradition against innovation. The mumio, protected by his heavy armor and large shield, represents Roman military solidity and discipline. The retiarius, with his fishing net and trident, symbolizes the adaptability and cunning that also characterize the Roman spirit. The crowd divides in its preferences, creating an atmosphere of friendly rivalry that adds emotional intensity to the combat. The gladiators' movements are a deadly dance of precision and beauty. Every blow is calculated, every defense a demonstration of technique, perfected through years of rigorous training. The sound of metal against metal echoes through the arena like martial music, punctuated by the grunts of effort from the combatants and the exclamations of the crowd. It is not gratuitous violence, but martial art elevated to the level of sublime spectacle. The arena sand, carefully prepared with aromatic cedar sawdust, absorbs the sweat and occasionally the blood of the combatants, gradually transforming into a mosaic of colors that tells the visual story of each duel. The aroma of cedar blends with the smell of leather, metal, and human exertion, creating a unique atmosphere that is simultaneously primitive and refined, barbaric and civilized. Between individual combats, group performances recreate famous historical battles: Caesar's victory over the Gauls, the conquest of Britannia, the subjugation of the Germans. These enactments serve as both entertainment and historical education, reminding the crowd of the military glories that made Rome the mistress of the world. Each battle is choreographed with military precision, but maintains the spontaneity necessary to create genuine suspense. The most thrilling moment arrives when a gladiator is defeated but not killed, and his fate rests in the hands of the crowd and the emperor. The silence that falls over the amphitheater is absolute, broken only by the heavy breathing of the fallen gladiator and the soft murmur of the wind through the velarium. 80,000 pairs of eyes turn to the imperial box, awaiting the gesture that will determine whether the warrior lives to fight another day or meets an honorable death on the golden sand of the Colosseum. Gladiator combats represented much more than entertainment. They were complex rituals that explored universal themes such as courage, destiny, honor, and mortality. Today, although our combat sports are much safer, we are still drawn to competitions that test human limits and allow us to safely contemplate fundamental questions about strength, skill, and determination. Shadows begin to lengthen across the arena as the sun starts its descent towards Rome's 7 hills, painting the sky in golden and purple hues that reflect on the polished stones of the amphitheater. The velarium, adjusted one last time by the imperial sailors, creates patterns of filtered light that dance softly over the tired but satisfied crowd. 80,000 spectators slowly begin to process the day's intense emotions, their voices growing softer, their gestures more contemplative. The last combats of the day take on an almost ceremonial character, with veteran gladiators demonstrating classic techniques in duels that prioritize skill over intensity. These final combats serve as an elegant conclusion to the spectacle, allowing the crowd to gradually bid farewell to the day's excitement and prepare for the return to daily life. The sound of metal against metal echoes more softly now, like a symphony approaching its harmonious end. In the upper stands, families begin to organize their belongings, carefully folding wool cushions and storing leftover food in their wicker baskets. Sleepy children are carried on their parents' shoulders, their heads heavy with sleep and memories that will last a lifetime. The murmur of conversations becomes more intimate, with small groups sharing their impressions of the day's spectacles and making plans for the next games. In the imperial podium, the Roman elite maintains its dignified composure, even as it discreetly prepares for departure. Specialized slaves begin to collect crystal goblets and silver trays, while others prepare the litters that will transport their masters back to the Palatine palaces. The emperor remains on his throne, his presence continuing to radiate authority even as the spectacles draw to a close. The aroma of incense burning in braziers intensifies as priests perform the closing rituals, thanking the gods for the protection granted during the games and asking for blessings for all present. Small offerings are placed on portable altars, coins, flowers, and wine libations that symbolize collective gratitude for another day of safe and memorable spectacle. The aromatic smoke rises slowly towards the darkening sky, carrying the prayers of the crowd. Vendors begin to circulate with special souvenirs from the games, small bronze replicas of the gladiators who stood out, parchment scrolls with combat results, and amulets blessed by the attending priests. These physical mementos will allow spectators to relive the day's emotions in their homes, sharing their experiences with family and friends who could not be present. The soft jingle of coins blends with conversations, creating a commercial soundtrack that marks the transition from the sacred to the everyday. The arena sand, marked by the day's combats, is carefully raked by specialized slaves, erasing the footprints and stains that tell the visual story of the spectacles. This cleaning ritual is not just practical, but symbolic. It prepares the sacred space for future spectacles, ensuring that each new day of games begins with a pristine arena full of possibilities. The rhythmic sound of the rakes creates a gentle percussion that lulls the last moments of the day. As the first stars begin to appear in the darkening sky, a sense of completeness and satisfaction fills the amphitheater. Spectators have experienced a full day of emotions, awe at the architectural grandeur, reverence for imperial majesty, excitement from the combats, and now a contemplative tranquility that comes only after deeply significant experiences. Each person present carries with them memories that will become part of their identity as a Roman citizen. The first families begin to leave their rows, creating a gradual and orderly flow towards the numbered exits. The evacuation system, as ingeniously designed as the entrance, allows 80,000 people to leave the amphitheater safely and efficiently. Lively conversations echo through the corridors as groups of friends and family share their favorite impressions of the day, debating the merits of different gladiators and recalling the most thrilling moments. The Colosseum gradually empties, but its majestic presence remains unchanged, patiently awaiting the next day of spectacles. Torches begin to be lit in the corridors, creating a golden illumination that transforms the amphitheater into a temple of light and shadow. Rome prepares for the night, but the memories of the day will remain alive in the hearts and minds of all who participated in this celebration of human greatness and imperial glory. In the streets leading away from the Colosseum, the sound of thousands of citizens' footsteps creates an urban symphony that gradually disperses throughout the city. Families return to their homes carrying not only physical souvenirs, but emotional experiences that strengthen their bonds with Rome and with each other. The day at the Colosseum ends, but its impact on the collective soul of the eternal city will continue to reverberate for generations, reminding everyone that to be Roman is to be part of something greater than any individual. It is to be part of the grandest civilization the world has ever known. A day at the Colosseum was much more than entertainment. It was a collective ritual that reaffirmed social values, political hierarchies, and Roman cultural identity. Today, our large sporting and cultural events still serve similar functions, creating moments of national unity and shared experiences that transcend individual differences. The difference perhaps lies in the scale of the sensory experience and the ritualistic awareness that the Romans invested in every aspect of their public life. When we close our eyes and try to imagine what it meant to be one of the 80,000 spectators in the Roman Colosseum, we touch upon something much deeper than a simple entertainment experience. We touch upon the essence of what makes us human, our ancestral need to belong to something greater than ourselves, to share intense emotions with our community, and to participate in rituals that give meaning to our existence. The Colosseum was not just an amphitheater, it was a miniature universe where the entire complexity of Roman civilization manifested itself in a single day of spectacle. The journey we followed from the morning awakening in Roman homes to the contemplative twilight at the end of the games reveals how our ancestors intuitively understood something that our modern society often forgets, that the most significant experiences in human life are those that engage all our senses simultaneously, that physically connect us with our community, and that allow us to temporarily transcend the limitations of our individual existence. Every aspect of that day, the aromas of incense and food, the sounds of crowds and combats, the textures of marble and silk, the vibrant colors of tunics and armor, was carefully orchestrated to create a total experience that would forever mark the memory of those who participated. Today, when we watch sports games in modern stadiums, attend music festivals, or gather in cinemas, we are echoing this same fundamental human need, but perhaps with less intensity and ritualistic awareness. Our contemporary events, though technologically more sophisticated, often lack the symbolic depth and transformative intentionality that characterized the Roman games. we have lost the understanding that entertainment can simultaneously be fun, education, religious ritual, political demonstration, and a transcendent experience. The social hierarchy so visible in the Colosseum stands, from the imperial podium to the highest rows of the plebs, reminds us that even in our moments of greatest collective unity, social differences persist and manifest themselves. However, there was something democratizing in the shared experience. For a few hours, everyone was simply Roman. Everyone participated in the same spectacle. Everyone breathed the same incense-perfumed air. Everyone felt the same excitement before the combats. This tension between hierarchy and equality, between social differentiation and common experience, continues to characterize our great contemporary collective events. The sensory sophistication of that experience, the carefully chosen perfumes, the ambient music, the tactile quality of the fabrics and materials, the acoustic precision that allowed every sound to reach everyone present clearly, makes us question whether our digital age, despite all its virtual connectivity, has not impoverished our ability to create truly immersive physical experiences. How often, in our contemporary events, are we truly present with all our senses, or are we partially distracted by devices that connect us to distant realities? The ritual of the imperial arrival, with all its pomp and reverence, illustrates how our ancestors understood the power of symbols and ceremonies to create moments of collective transcendence. Although our modern democratic society justifiably rejects the veneration of autocratic leaders, perhaps we have lost something important by completely abandoning the ability to create ritual moments that elevate us above the mundane and connect us with ideals greater than ourselves. The carefully orchestrated progression of the day, from the morning hunts that demonstrated mastery over nature, through the contemplative midday intermission, to the gladiator combats that explored themes of courage and destiny, reveals a sophisticated understanding of how to structure emotional experiences for maximum psychological impact. Our contemporary events, though often exciting, rarely demonstrate this same awareness of the emotional rhythm and dramatic progression necessary to create truly transformative experiences. Perhaps the deepest lesson we can draw from a day at the Colosseum is the understanding that human beings are not just isolated individuals seeking personal entertainment, but fundamentally social creatures who flourish when participating in meaningful collective experiences. In an era of increasing digital isolation and social fragmentation, the memory of those 80,000 Romans united in awe, excitement, and contemplation reminds us of the transformative power of shared physical presence and the importance of creating spaces and moments where we can rediscover our common humanity. The Colosseum, in its physical and symbolic grandeur, remains an eternal reminder that we are capable of creating experiences that transcend the ordinary and connect us with the extraordinary that exists within ourselves and our community. Every time we gather to share intense emotions, whether in stadiums, theaters, or public squares, we are honoring this ancestral heritage and reaffirming our eternal need to belong to something greater than our individual existence.